Sorry to interrupt.
Are you okay?
I need to get out of a toxic relationship.
Why don't you start by telling us what brought you here?
My boss, he's different.
You can't get him out of your head.
No.
I need your assistance.
I'm coming, Master!
Oh, you feel like he could destroy you with the snap of his fingers.
Wouldn't even need to snap.
Okay.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, what?
So we finally got Nicolas Cage to play Dracula. All right, we'll see how this goes. So I heard about Renfield couple months ago, and I was first, it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, what's going to go on with this? But then when I heard that Nicolas Cage was going to play Dracula, I immediately went, okay, I don't know how this is going to go. And then they showed what he looked like, and I was like, okay, all right, we'll see how this goes. And then I watched the trailer when it was released, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. All right, I'll go see this. So now it's out, and so I saw it, and so here we go. I did really like this movie. I think this year there's going to be a lot of Dracula movies coming out. But so far this one, it's over the top. It knows it is. It's not trying to be serious. I mean, they even said that you actually could say that this is the direct sequel off of the, I think it was 1930s Dracula movie. And it actually could fit pretty well, actually. This is kind of, this reminded me kind of Dark Shadows, where it was, back in the day, it was playing like it was all serious. And then when it jumps to a certain decade in Dark Shadows, I believe it was the 60s or 70s. I forget which decade it was. They started going more over the top and kind of goofy. This brings it into present day, and it plays over the top. So the story of this is Renfield, who is Dracula's assistant, has been taking care of him for a long, long time, but never thought about, wait, what about my life? I've been taking care of his life, but not focusing on my life. What do I want to do? So he finally decides, you know what, I'm going to stick up to my boss. And, things happen. I'll just say that. I will say this right off the bat. Nicholas Hoult was very good. I thought he was really good. Awkwafina, usually I guess it's her sense of humor that I don't really care for, but I think when she has a good script and a good story and and a good character that kind of pulls her back from doing those kind of little ticks, like in Shang-Chi, I didn't think she was as annoying as I thought she was going to be. Where with this, it was like, okay, you're all right, you're fine, all right, you're good. But Nicolas Cage as Dracula, wow, he was hilarious. There were so many times where I laughed during this movie, and it's a fun movie. I will say this, that a lot of people are giving it mixed, mainly because of I've heard a couple of things that it's quite mixed on. First of all, what direction it's going, because it does go in multiple directions, especially with the story, where it's kind of all right, you kind of seem like you're kind of pushing this in a little bit, and I can see it. I heard complaints that people didn't like the ending, But to me, the ending was kind of like, well, that I kind of expected that to happen. So it was like, all right. So what's the big deal there? Like, okay. So I see where people are kind of for this movie, but also against this movie. But the main problem that's kind of, I guess, irritating me is this is being put out by Universal, and they're not marketing it very much. I mean, yeah, I've seen like the trailer like tons of times, but the screening that, or the day I saw it, it only had 3 showings. And I'm like, this movie just came out. Like the day I saw it, it was 3 showings, and it came out a couple days ago. And so I'm going, what are you doing? Like, I went and saw this movie and another movie that came out a month ago, and that had more showings. It's like, what are you doing? So I don't know if that's the theater chain's fault. I don't know if it's Universal's fault, but it's not getting, the box office is pretty mediocre. I mean, they said that the what was it, the other movie, The Pope's Exorcist, that's done like tons more money than Renfield has. So it's kind of disappointing. The director of this, I think it was Chris McKay, has done other comedy stuff, but I think he works as a comedy writer and director. But when it comes to the action scenes in this movie, they're not really done all that well. And this is, that's one of the complaints I have, is that the action scenes, well, it's really surprisingly a lot gorier than I thought it was going to be, even from watching the Red Band trailer. It's pretty gory. Like, wow. But it's the action scenes were very much like quick cuts, and like the editing is like all out of whack, so it was very kind of choppy editing, and it just was like, okay, you're going this way, you're going this way, you're going this way, you're going this way, and I'm like, I get you're not an action director, I get it, but at least like have your like cinematographer come up with some other techniques, because now that we're in like the prime of like the John Wick's films, where the director of those is a stuntman and knows how to work with fighting and stunt coordination, this was just kind of like, we're just going to place the camera on this angle because maybe it'll look cool. But, overall, it doesn't really succeed in the action parts. But, the movie's not trying to be like concentrated as an action film. It's trying to be like a dark comedy film. It's trying to be more of that. And it works. I think it works pretty well. But yeah, it's just the action parts. It's like one half of this is like a comedy movie, and then the other half is an action gore film, and it can't really mix the balance quite well. I mean, when it comes to the comedy and drama, it's done pretty well, but when it comes to the action scenes, it's shot really, really sloppy. So yeah, when I came out of it, I'm like, I liked it. I would have liked it more if the action scenes were shot better. It's also a pretty short film. Like, it's barely over an hour and a half. And I think it works, but because they have a lot that they're trying to like cram in, I could see this being like maybe an extra, maybe 15 minutes, maybe be like an hour and 45, hour 50. And I think it would have been much better. But, overall, I was looking forward to this movie from, once I saw Nicolas Cage looking like Dracula, and I think he and Nicholas Hoult, their chemistry together just worked really well because they were written really well. And I think this movie works quite well. I think this it's caught between an average and a great. It's pulling down to average because of the action, but it's pulling up to great just because it was funny, and it was surprising to me on how funny it was. I mean, I was expecting it to be funny, but it was surprising to me how funny it was. But maybe like a high average, a low great, maybe like in between there. I can't really make a decision because I am caught in between with that. But, overall, I think it's an entertaining movie. It's an over-the-top movie. It's not meant to be taken seriously. And they all know it is. They all know it's over the top. But I think this is it's a fun movie to show, to show your friends. And I think it will become a cult classic in the future.
Hi, are you here for the meeting? Well, come on. No!
Some call me the Dark One, others the Lord of Death. To most, I am Dracula.
Okay, obviously we're dealing with a little bit more than just narcissism here.
Now, let's eat.